Welcome to the Christian Heritage Center podcast. Thank you for joining us and watching this episode. I'm your host, Kyle Kirby. I am the pastor for preaching at Grace Fellowship Church in Albion, Illinois. I'm also the founder and director of the Christian Heritage Center. I'm joined today by Brother Tim Hott, and I'm going to go ahead and let Tim briefly introduce himself.
I am the lead pastor at First Baptist Church in Nixa, Missouri, a suburb just south of Springfield, Missouri. Been here for going on 12 years and a big fan of church history and Christian heritage. So I'm encouraged to be here and encouraged to be a part of this ministry. And I've been waiting for weeks, Kyle, to talk about methodology.
We are here. It has arrived.
I tried to talk about it last week, but got ahead of myself a bit.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, man. Well, I'm excited about it as well. So in this episode, thanks for joining and being involved, Tim. Tim's a board member for the Christian Heritage Center. So grateful for his involvement, his contribution. In this episode, we are going to try and explain the methodology of the CHC, how we fulfill our mission, what we do. That's really what we're going to seek to explain and discuss to the best of our ability today. Here at the Christian Heritage Center, our mission is to honor, preserve, and learn from the heritage of godly figures in the past to better serve the church today. And today we're answering the question, how do we do that? So the CHC has 5 primary ways that we do this. The first is promoting understanding and appreciation for the heritage of godly figures throughout history. What are your thoughts on that initial methodology, Tim?
Well, we can't understand, or we can't appreciate what we don't understand, and we can't understand without study. So, we have 2,000 years of church history to learn from, to dig into, and I think that that's an exciting part of what we do here, or what we hope to do here at the Christian Heritage Center. Conducting historical research using primary and secondary sources and making these resources accessible to the public. I think that one of the reasons why there is a wide-scale ignorance in churches today about church history is that it seems inaccessible to them. Not only are the works inaccessible, thankfully we live in a day when they are far more accessible than they ever have been, not only through the proliferation of the internet, but publishers like Banner of Truth and Reformation Trust are constantly just bringing out works from the Reformational Puritan tradition, but also we shouldn't pretend that some of these works aren't really hard to read. They are, we're separated from them by sheer vocabulary. And in the 21st century, we think and write and communicate in short sentences, and they were not bound by brevity at all. Their sentences can go on and on and on. I'll never forget the first time I tried to read Andrew Fuller on that point. So, I think understanding what they're saying and communicating these truths to our contemporary audience in a way that both tries to make it accessible, but also encourages the church to rise up and try to chew on some of these great works. But I really see us as trying to bridge the gap between the treasures of the historical Christian faith and our modern day.
Yeah, that's exactly right. yeah, just promoting those things and making it. I love how you were emphasizing making it more accessible because, I mean, really, I think about so many churches. I think that it's just daunting and intimidating whenever they get a book and the first page they're like, oh, because I'll read John Owen, and I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, give me a second, let me reread that.
Yeah,
Let me think about that. And it's hard for anybody, I think.
right.
And especially if you don't have that framework. And so, yeah, promoting it and trying to bring about an appreciation and a hunger for it. So, do you want to read the second one, Tim?
Sure. Instructing in, so we seek to fulfill our mission to honor, preserve, and learn from the heritage of godly figures in the past to better serve the church today by instructing in relevant aspects and topics of Christian truth that are associated with the heritage of these godly figures.
Mm,
Some of the relevant truths that we hope
mm,
to clearly communicate. Number one is experiential Calvinism. We are a non-denominational ministry, but we are a non-denominational ministry within the Reformed tradition, and specifically the Reformed tradition of experiential Calvinism that didn't originate with the Puritans, but is
mm,
probably most widely attributed to Puritanism.
mm,
It's a view in a sovereign God who is not only transcendent but immanent. He is immanently involved, personally
mm,
involved in our lives, and it's a way of approaching this God that is not merely intellectual.
mhm,
It is not less than the intellect, but it is
mhm,
more than the intellect. It aims at the affections.
mm,
And so
mm,
I was running across again just this morning Thomas
mm,
Chalmers, the expulsive power of a new affection. Right,
mm,
the saving faith it has a clear affectional content, and all of our life, if it is going to be pleasing to God and bring Him glory, so soli Deo Gloria, that's what we live for, to enjoy, to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. That necessitates that we love Him,
mhm.
and we won't love a God that we don't understand, at least in so far as He has made Himself comprehensible to us through His revelation. So you'll be
Mm.
hearing the word affection a whole lot from the Christian Heritage Center, because we're aiming not only at the mind, we're aiming at the heart. Uh,
Amen.
I could tick through several of these relevant truths. Reformed doctrine, right? The five solas of the Reformation, the five doctrines of grace enunciated at the Synod of Dort, biographical literature and biographical courses in some of these great figures of the past, as we've talked about in previous episodes, warts and all, right?
Mhm,
Flaws and admirable qualities. There's things to be learned from all of them, and it's all for our instruction. Sound revival theology as opposed to revivalistic theology. I think we
mhm.
probably ought to have a podcast simply on that topic.
I think
Um,
so.
so that's Lloyd
Or a
Jones.
bunch.
Lloyd Jones is key in
Mm,
differentiating that, and then of course Ian Murray in his book.
mm,
Uh, Evangelical unity. This is Bunyan, right? Across
mm,
the board, across denominations, across differing views of
mm,
the relationship between baptism and the covenants, or baptism and church membership. We we hope that Presbyterians, we hope that Congregationalists, we hope that people who
mhm.
don't claim any denominational affiliation, e-free people will, all of these reformational traditions, we share this same heritage.
Yeah.
And I don't, as a Baptist, I don't intend to only learn from Baptists. I like to joke that I've learned so much from Luther, and yet Luther wouldn't recognize me as a Christian. So
Yeah.
uh, we don't that would be one of the flaws that we don't want to ignore, you know.
Yeah.
So I could go on and on and on, but there's just such a rich treasure of truth to be found in church history, rooted in scripture. That's the foundation of all truth, but
Mhm.
enunciated uh, and explained and applied throughout the history of the church in ways that are frequently richer, healthier, and more profitable than they have been in recent generations.
Mhm. Yeah. So there's a wide spectrum that we'll be teaching and instructing on. Lots of great truths, great things. And some of the ways that we'll seek to do that would be like competency-based education, cohorts, academic and educational courses, practicums, internships, reading cohorts, groups, fellowships, and so forth. So a variety of ways to administer the instruction and the teaching. Just because I think you alluded to this last time, Tim, the landscape in the educational paradigm and stuff is shifting. And I think I see that in higher education. I but there still has to be the in classroom. There still has to be the academic component.
Mhm.
But I think also one of the things we do need to focus on is practical aspects as well, and
You
aiding
know,
people who are already in ministry, aspiring to ministry. Go ahead, Tim.
well, Kyle, you make me you remind me of the I don't think this is still the tagline for Ligonier Ministries, but back in the day, it was bridging the gap between seminary and Sunday school.
Mm, mm,
And and they fulfilled a real need. You know, I
mm,
not all pastors can go to
that is so
seminary.
good.
Uh, but it's not only pastors, it's people in the pew who can't go, they can't go where these truths and these riches are being expounded in a brick and mortar uh context.
Yeah.
And so I think that need still exists to bridge the gap between seminary and Sunday school.
Mm,
We want to bring those two things together in the Christian Heritage Center.
mm, so good. Yeah, we want, and so as you're saying that, I'm thinking, you know, it's so exciting that we can teach and we can instruct on these glorious realities, these glorious truths that these men have loved throughout the ages. We are teaching, we're expounding, we're throwing these things out there that people throughout the ages have loved and have stirred their hearts. And so it's rediscovering these things and propagating them sometimes for the first time, but making them more broadly known, um, making them more broadly available, but just teaching on them. Man, it gets me so excited. So Matt, that quote on for Ligonier is so good. I forgot about that. And that's exactly what they did. They have absolutely done that.
Yep.
Uh, so the third way that the CHC fulfills its mission is by providing quality resources that bring awareness to the Christian heritage of godly figures. So this is pretty self-explanatory. So articles, online and digital resources, books, pamphlets, videos, courses, audio recording. There's like that just could go on and on and on. But I do want to emphasize the quality resources, and these would be tied back to some of those topics we've already referenced and those areas of instruction that we've already taught on, and it would be applicable for ministers, but also the layman, the preacher, and the pew.
Right.
Um, so that's pretty self-explanatory. And so that leads us into number 4, Tim.
Facilitating opportunities for fellowship and growth. So we foresee opportunities for ministerial fellowship, so fellowship among pastors, uh, ministerial networking, cohorts where you would have not only pastors but church members who are signing up for 6-week, 8-week, 12-week studies, and are able to meet together in an online format to study either a great work from the past or a particular person or a particular topic. Historical tours. I'm signing up for the tour to England, to go to Bedford. Conferences, which have been, conferences are not the replacement for your local church, but certainly have been influential and encouraging in the lives of many people, including myself. Seminars, Bible studies, roundtable discussions. We hope in the next year to offer 3 to 4 online instructional webinars. We have a couple of ideas jotted down. The how and why of how and why ministers should study godly historical figures. So sort of an apologetic for Christian biography. A session on Martin Lloyd-Jones and evangelistic preaching. If preaching is not just exposition. The difference between mere exposition and exposition that evangelizes, the benefits of studying the Puritans, and so on and so forth. So all of these opportunities that we're mentioning are going to be slowly rolled out, in the years to come. But there's already resources available on the website, which I believe went live this week.
Yep, that's
And
correct. Pretty exciting.
we hope to add to that regularly. Go ahead and give us the website address.
The website is christianheritagecenter.us. Again, christianheritagecenter.us. So one of the ideas behind this section for how to carry out the methodology is when we look back at Lloyd-Jones' ministry, he had what was called the Westminster Fraternal. And through the Westminster Fraternal, he was essentially facilitating an opportunity for men to come together and rub against each other to learn, for men to come together and to be taught, but also for debate, an opportunity for men to come together in fellowship, an opportunity for men to come together and be mentored and poured into. And so really this kind of continues and carries on that idea of fraternal ministries, creating opportunities for Christians and ministers to come together and to grow as a result in their souls. And so that's really what that was born out of, was Lloyd-Jones' Westminster Fraternal. So that leads us to the last one, which is the fifth way that we seek to fulfill our mission, is training and equipping ministers and Christians with the knowledge, principles, and practices to leave a godly heritage. So it seems as though there's a little bit of overlap between 5 and 4, but 5 just specifies the reality that this work is aimed at ministers in particular, and additionally to laymen and Christians. So we want to train and equip believers, but we do want to train and equip pastors, ministers, to leave a godly heritage, to grow, to be better ministers of the gospel, to practice and to live out and be faithful in their ministries as so many have before, to emulate the godly heritage of those who came before in their own ministries.
Right.
So that's 5 ways. That's the 5 ways that we essentially try to fulfill our mission. Promoting understanding and appreciation of the heritage of godly figures throughout history. Number 2, instructing in relevant aspects and topics of Christian truth associated with the heritage of godly figures. 3, providing quality resources that bring awareness to the Christian heritage of godly figures. 4, facilitating and making available a variety of opportunities for Christian and ministerial fellowship, learning, and growth to encourage the same godliness today. And fifth, training and equipping ministers and Christians with the knowledge, principles, and practices to leave a godly heritage. Tim, do you have any concluding thoughts before we close, or have anything else you'd like to add?
I just keep thinking of the metaphor of a hidden treasure. I'm convinced that the heritage of the church is a hidden treasure, and that treasure is just waiting to be discovered. It's waiting to be unpacked, and I'm looking forward to doing that with as many people will come alongside us.
Amen to that. So, friends, thanks for joining us. This is how we seek to fulfill our mission as a ministry. If this has resonated with you, or if something's piqued your interest, or you say, oh, I'd like to learn more about that, that's interesting, then I'd encourage you to try and connect with myself either through the website, which is christianheritagecenter.us, or myself, Kyle, K-Y-L-E, at christianheritagecenter.us. Until next time, thank you for joining us. Let's continue to honor, preserve, and learn from the heritage of godly figures in the past to better serve the church today. Thanks so much.